What's up, Fort Knox? Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure that you subscribe so you're notified to when I have new videos. And today I've got a new video for you because there was a new episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Finally, thank God there was a new episode. I was really missing these ladies, and they came back and they delivered. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. This episode is called Until We Leave Again, and you'll see why. Episode 9 of season 10. So it picks up right where we left off, where Aaron and Denise are storming out of Kyle's barbecue, and basically Lisa Rinna runs after them. And it's so funny to me because Lisa had actually left the table, and then when she saw that Denise was leaving, she's like, well, what happened? It's like all of a sudden now you want to have your friends back. Well, Denise already feels that Rinna does not have her back, and she's like, I'll talk to you at a later date, not right here, in front of these ladies. Like, this is just, a mess. And they are leaving, just storming out, and Rinna is trying to say, well, this group, we hold people, like, whatever her excuse was. I forgot exactly what she says, but the ladies flash back to them, or back to the party with them. They feel that Aaron, shouldn't have gotten involved, and we saw this happen before with Dorit's husband, with Erika, Jayne, PK, Erika, Jayne, Dorit, all that. It never works out when the husbands get involved, which is why this is called The Real Housewives and not The Real House Husbands. But Aaron was trying to protect his wife, be protective of his wife, and she can be, well, I won't say she's easygoing, but she's just not here for the BS. And they just, these ladies just don't want to drop this subject. And so Denise and Aaron decide to leave. They say, and I don't even know, like, were they serious or were they just, I don't know what it was, but they said they're going to get a steak at a strip club. And of course, Lisa Rinna has, with her giant lips, have to go back to the group and report this. Of course she has to. And they're like, what do you mean, a steak at a strip club? Oh, now they're going to, it's just, that becomes a whole thing. And, I find it very interesting that Garcelle is the only one that really sides with Denise about she's like, if my kids were in here, we wouldn't be talking about this whole thing. These ladies just don't get it. I've said it in, you guys know, I've said it in several videos before. These women just don't get that. Some people don't want to talk about sex and these different things in front of their kids, no matter how sex positive they are, or how, what the kind of talk you have with your girlfriends. That Sex in the City type of talk, you do not have in front of your kids, your impressionable teenagers. And I don't know why Garcelle is the only one that gets this. I don't want to play a race card, but I do know, as a black woman, black families, and sometimes it's a good thing and sometimes it's not a good thing, but having certain kind of talk in front of, where white people tend to be more freer with their kids talking about this kind of thing. I mean, you could argue both sides of the point that maybe, black people should be a little more vocal with their kids about sex, and maybe, that would be helpful. And then, you could argue and say that, maybe white people are a little too free with their kids. I'm not saying across the board, but there is, a general construct of that. And I feel like that's probably why Garcelle actually gets it. But I think the ladies just want Denise to just, really talk about this. And they really want to delve into it. And I don't really know what they're getting out of it, because I feel like they've said what they need to say. Denise said how she felt, and that's just it. They're not going to see eye to eye on it, but I think they really want her to say, you guys think I'm a bad, you guys are a bad mom, or we think, you think that we're bad mom. Like, that's what they really want her to own, and I don't think that's what Denise was getting at. It's just simply, have respect around my kids. All right, so Dorit says she doesn't feel judged by Denise, and that, she just basically, she's like, but this is not going to go well, with the husband chiming in. It's just not going to go well, I can tell you from experience. So she feels like maybe she needs to offer Denise some, help with that. Denise hates Kyle. I'm sorry. I don't see Denise and Kyle ever being friends again, or being friends at all, or whatever. Like, I don't see that happening for them, just because I don't know. Like, it just seems like Kyle just doesn't let anything go. Like, she just, I mean, like, shit just that, like, just, she just wants to constantly bring it up. It's just, it's crazy. But I mean, you know, but these women are wild. They get on the stripper pole and they, you know, they start like swinging around the pole. Their behavior under this tent kind of reminded me a little bit of the New York Housewives, who are unapologetic, and don't care about looking classy. But yeah, it's just an interesting thing. They get really drunk. You can tell they're drunk, and drunk Kyle is a mood at times, but then it also, here comes the white woman tears, and it's just Lord, with that. But nonetheless, Teddi goes to get her ultrasound, and you know, they don't talk about it on this episode, but I do know that, and I don't know if they're going to talk about it in future episodes, because I don't think she had the baby during the season. But I did see in a post, it was been reported that her daughter does have some issues. I don't really remember the exact thing that her daughter has, but it's basically something to do with the size of her head, and something to do with, I don't know if it's a neurological disorder, but she has to have operation. I think she's either just had the operation or is about to have the operation. I'm not really sure, but prayers for her baby, because the baby's so cute, and I hope that she's going to be okay. Garcella's packing up her house. She finally gets to move into her new home, and they're packing up the house. Rinna goes to Sutton's boutique. So this is just, I'm just kind of flying through some of this because none of it really is that eventful. But Rinna is basically trying on stuff at Sutton's boutique. Sutton has an event coming up. She's like, basically everyone's invited. And I feel like every time they have an invitation now, especially this season, it's going to be like, well, you know, well, exception of maybe Kyle. People will make reference to the invitation that they got from Teddi. You know, everyone's invited, and all this whole narrative is going to constantly be stuck on her, and this is definitely going to be something that's brought up at the reunion watch. Like, it's going to be a big subject, along with the Denise stuff. But anyway, I digress. Let's talk about Dorit's closet. Because for me, as a fashion girl, as a closet-loving girl, and loving seeing celebrities' closets and having a, you know, organized closet, is a big thing. Now, let's just face it. Dorit slays fashion for across the board for all Housewife franchises. She and Marlo are my two favorite fashion girls. I think Dorit owns fashion as far as the you know, the looks. I would give her best dressed housewife and most fashionable housewife of all the franchises. And so her closet has to be fabulous, and she's getting it redesigned. She has a closet architect. I didn't even know that was an actual thing. And I have a background in interior design, and she has a closet architect. Hats off to her. So for all you people that are like, you know, they have no money, the money's coming from somewhere. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know if it's true about the money issues. I mean, maybe there's some money stashed away somewhere. Maybe she has her own money. Maybe, you know, the money issues are resolved. I don't know. I love Dorit. I love her closet, and obviously she's spending money on this house and the closet. Who knows? So I love seeing that. So now Kim and Kyle are driving. They're getting along, which is great because they have a troubled past, as you guys know. They're speeding to at first I was like, they're speeding to the plastic surgeon's office. And I thought it was very interesting in the wake of like the Black Lives Matter movement right now, how, you know, when a black person gets pulled over, it is very much like it's a scary thing, especially for a black man, as opposed to two white women getting pulled over. But they weren't getting pulled over, even though she was speeding. And even though, like, the car just went around. It just kind of put a thought in my head, you know, like, what is that? Are people understanding now? And I know this was edited probably before. Not that this was a sensitive thing. It just was it just kind of put in my head. Like, it's a different experience, even though she was just like, oh my God, he's pulling me over. Yeah, but I don't think you're probably feared for your life that he's pulling you over. You're probably just like, oh, I gotta cry my way out of a ticket or something. But anyway, at first I was like, they're speeding to a plastic surgeon's office. This is dumb, like whatever. And then I realized that it was for Kim's breast. And I kind of felt bad because I don't like to face shame, body shame, people's looks or age shame, any of that. It is, Kim has had her issues with the way she lives her life and substance abuse and all that stuff. But it's very interesting when you put the two side by side, her and Kyle. They look alike, but they're kind of night and day. They are only 4 years apart, but they look a lot more further apart. And I know Kyle has had some things done and injected and whatever. Maybe Kim has opted not to do those things, but she looks like she's had a hard life. And they're there for her breast because she has breast cancer. And so then after I was thinking that in my head, I was like, I don't even know if I want to say that anymore. But I did say it. But I've always thought this about Kim. I was just like, God, she just always looks like she's had a rough time. And they're not even that far apart. But nonetheless, they have a history of cancer in their family. Their mom died of cancer, and it was really sad. So she had a tumor on her breast that was removed, and now I guess she's getting reconstructive surgery or getting a tumor. I'm not really sure what's happening there, but they were at the plastic surgeon. So we'll cut back to that in a second. But Denise's daughter, Sammy, is learning how to drive. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like just the basics of it, and it's so crazy because I would be terrified. She seems very calm. They're having her practice on a very busy street as opposed to a parking lot, like you take, like normal people just take a parking lot. Aaron is the perfect person to teach her because he has such patience and he's very calm also. But this girl doesn't know the basic stuff, that you should know before you get behind. Which one's the brake and which one's the gas? Oh my God. It's funny that she's backing up so much to go around. I do know that a lot of kids are getting their license and permits later because they are, we live in the age of Uber and Lyft, and kids are just like, I don't really need to learn to drive. I just get Uber, whatever. But it was a rite of passage for a lot of us. And so it's very interesting to see her super chill. And Denise is like, oh my God, Charlie couldn't handle it. He did one try with her and was like, oh no. So, Aaron's a perfect for that. So Erika and Lisa go to get some kind of sculpting on their butt. It's not cool sculpt, but it's some kind of thing that it's the stuff that people try in Beverly Hills. People try anything, but apparently it might work. I don't know. Erika is given tips by Lisa Rinna about her role as Roxy Hart. I told you guys before that I saw her. She was phenomenal. Right, I saw her right before the quarantine. She was absolutely amazing. And so Lisa has played the same role, and she just basically, gave her some really good advice. Erika gets something done to her stomach, and Lisa gets something done to her butt. I mean, they both have incredible bodies for their ages and just period. They have but Lisa Rinna has a great body for anybody's age. And I've met Erika in person before too. She has an amazing body also, and we've seen her in her costumes, her leotards and stuff on stage, so that was great. So Kim has her surgery. They cut back to that, and it gets really emotional because Kyle starts talking about, she breaks down basically about her mother being, not wanting to die and being really terrified about, passing away and leaving them. I had so much more to teach you and so much to do, and I wanted to watch you guys in so many other capacities. And it was really sad because you usually, or you hear a lot about people being, once they get cancer, just being content with the life they had sometimes, and just being at peace. And her mother was terrified of dying, and her mother ended up dying, and it just was really sad to see Kyle there. I teared up a little bit watching that. Then we cut to Garcelle's new home. It's a beautiful home that she's been building. It looks smaller on the outside than it is. I'm not shading it or anything. It just does. I'm really into homes. I told you guys I'm an interior designer. I was in a past life. But it is 3,200 square feet, and it's a 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom home. And she's moving into her home. I'm happy for her and her kids. It looks beautiful inside. It does kind of look like one of those cookie cutter houses when you look in the neighborhood, but it's like you she still was building the home, so we're not going to take that away from her at all. But I think I've heard other people shade her home, but whatever. I'm happy for her. So Garcelle is going on a date. Finally, God, this woman is too beautiful to not be, to be single for so long and not, I saw an interview with her and Kandi Burruss from Atlanta Housewives, and she was talking about how she's ready to date and all this stuff. So she's going on a date. She admits that she has daddy issues, and her dad passed away before, and they had a strained relationship, and, she didn't get to say or know what some things that he said to her in a letter her mom threw away because Garcelle didn't want to, read it. So anyway, we cut to Sutton's event, and this is where the shit goes down. Sutton's event, oh my God, Dorit talks about how she almost married an Italian, so she would have probably had an even different accent. I don't know, but she knows she's fluent in Italian, or fluent enough for living in Italy, so good for her. She's one of my favorites. Sutton shades Teddi's pregnant Teddi. Like, you can't shade a pregnant woman's style, even though we've talked about Teddi's style before. But, I mean, she's very pregnant at this point. So, like, well, let's give her a break. But she's like, I just want to take her and just, I guess, restyle her or something. I don't know. The food looks amazing at the event. Let's just breeze through this because, okay, so food looks amazing. They find out that Aaron and what's her name? Denise are coming to the event, and they're like, Kyle's like, well, maybe things will be okay. I died laughing when Erika was like, no, it won't, but, I support you, and, I love you for being optimistic, like, whatever, it won't be okay. And true enough, it is not. Denise and Aaron arrive, and Dorit goes to say hi because it's so awkward at first when they first arrive, and Dorit is the only one that hasn't really had a issue. Like, let me just be honest with you. I don't think Erika Jayne had an issue. I think she had an issue with the way that Aaron, of course, she had an issue with, and all the women did, about the way Aaron talked to the ladies and kind of mansplained and kind of talked down to them and got involved. But Dorit doesn't have an issue. Erika doesn't really have an issue. I don't think Sutton has an issue. I know Garcelle is in support of her. I think the only people with the issue is Kyle and Teddi. I think Lisa might have a little bit of an issue with the whole thing, but I mean, at the end of the day, the two people are Kyle and Teddi, and it's just like these two just won't let this shit go. It's just freaking nuts to me. So Denise is just like, I'm just going in being optimistic and like hopefully they will let this go, but honey, you just don't know this group because they're not going to let this go. And so it's just, she's like, I'm just hoping they'll let it go. I'm not in this group, girl. Not going to happen. I'm sorry. Denise makes an excuse that Aaron had to come because they had a dinner. Oh, girl, that is absolute bullshit. Love you, Denise, but that's bullshit. He's there because he is your watchdog and he is absolutely there to defend you, and that's okay. I mean, it is what it is, but I don't blame her. Like, after what happened the last time, I mean, she was hopeful that these ladies will let it go because she's more laid back in that sense, but they don't, as you guys probably saw in the episode. Kyle says she feels bad that Denise left her event. Really? Because you did the same exact thing. So it's okay for you to leave, but it's not okay for her to leave. Got it. All right. So Denise leaves Aaron alone to go to the bathroom. Why? Didn't she just say, can you go with me to the restroom? Because she left him there with the lines in. I feel like, I don't know. I don't know if she did it on purpose or not. I don't know if she played this way, or I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but she leaves him there. Erika goes in on Aaron, and she's not intimidated by it. Let me tell you something about Erika. Erika goes in on Aaron. Erika is not to be played with. Erika is a gangster. Erika is one of my favorite housewives. She is my favorite housewife of all time. And she is not here for Aaron and his BS. She's not intimidated by him. He's met his match in her. You got the right one. Let me tell you that. You got the right one. She's not going to be intimidated. Teddi says, oh, well, Denise comes back and she's like, you called me a name. They go back and forth. It's a big ass mess. You got to watch the episode for it, but for everything verbatim. But then she's like, oh, you called me a name. Like, Teddi, shut up. Like, nobody cares at this point. I'm starting to see what people are saying about Teddi. I like Teddi, but come on. Like, you're dwelling on that. Apparently, she didn't know that Phoenix was right beside her. Dorit's daughter, Phoenix, was right beside Denise when Denise was said a bad word, called Teddi a shit stirrer. And so they're like, oh, this is a double standard. You're talking about her kids are like this, blah, blah, all this stuff. Whatever. So Denise is like, this is the dumbest thing ever. They storm out of the party. And she's like, these women just won't let it go. I will agree with everyone. I agree with Dorit, who goes after them, that says, nothing's ever going to get resolved if you keep on leaving. But I think Denise just wants them to let it go. And I think that's honestly just the best way. You guys have said what you wanted to say. She said what she wanted to say. Why do you guys keep letting this go? And she's like, find something else to fight about. Like, I think they're just doing this for TV now. They're waiting for the next thing to come up because there's not really any drama. And they know they have to bring it because last season was dry. So they needed to up the ante. So they're really not letting this go. And so she's like, I'm not going to do this here with their paparazzi around. There are no paparazzi, but there were people covering the event. For Sutton, she's like, I don't want to do this. This is Sutton's event. I'm being respectful. I'm going to leave. Dorit goes after her. She's like, nothing gets resolved when you leave. And she's like, Aaron, I've been there. You don't want to chime in. It's not a good idea. And he's trying to chime in while she's talking to Denise, while Dorit's talking to Denise, and it's just not working. Erika's just like, I don't give a fuck. She's just like, come see about me. I don't give a fuck. Come see about me. I love Erika in that way. Like, I'm not scared about, like, it's just not going down that way. You're not going to talk to me that way. Like, I love Erika for that reason. So Dorit is just, trying to give her some advice because she went through the same thing with PK. And the biggest thing that I can say about this entire episode is let it go, ladies. Let it go. Move on to something else. Hash this out at the reunion where she can't just walk away. But this woman is done with this thing. We have gone through several episodes and like 4 different meetups where you guys are talking about this shit. Just let it go. It's ridiculous. Let's move on to something. As viewers, we're sick of it too. And some stuff is going to happen in the next episode, and I cannot wait because I will be right here with you guys, and I will be here with all the madness and the shenanigans and whatever to report on it. So make sure that you subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.